Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SoberSwole podcast. My name is Jake Howard,
My name is Paul Rowe.
and we're about to get into it. We have a special guest this evening. Say
We
hello.
do?
Hello.
And what's your name, you little lady?
My name is Bailey, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hey!
All right. She's one of us.
One of us. All right. So, Bailey, we became internet friends some many moons ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah. I met you through some mutual friends who were at the time dating. They tried to set us up, but we decided,
Yep.
I think, that we were like way better off just being friends.
Mm-hmm.
And been pretty fucking cool ever since.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude. But so tell us a little bit about you.
I am 26 years old, and I'm currently living in Tucson. I'm in a long-term treatment facility for alcohol and drug use. Mine specifically just alcohol, but there are other clients here that are here for harder stuff than Coors Light, you know. But yeah. Oh, I was born in Prescott and raised in Flagstaff. No kids, so I was joking around with the people at my treatment center. I was like, the page is like based off of fitness and their kids and their wives, but I'm just gonna relate to the alcohol part because I'm single and I don't have kids, so.
Hey, you know, it's actually kind of a breath of fresh air for us old dad men. So,
Yes.
so Paul and I, when we first jumped into the podcast, we kind of got into a little bit about what our addictions were and, you know, what our vices are. You said yours was just alcohol pretty much.
Mhm.
So what kind of led to you being into this long-term facility?
January 21st of this year, I got into a very bad car accident, and that was like my bottom. I had bottoms before, but it was always me quitting for someone else or me trying to prove in a relationship that I could stay sober for a certain amount of time. And that never worked. Even when I had brain surgery in 2018, I was able to stay sober for like obviously the surgery and the rehabilitation part. But as soon as my grandma was staying with me to help take care of me and stuff, and as soon, like literally the night that she left, I went out and got drunk. So it sucks that it took an accident and a drunk driving accident at that to have me get to my lowest point. But hey, everybody has to have a bottom. That was mine.
True. Before we get more into that, so I remember when you had your brain surgery. I can't.
Mhm.
Was that? I remember you called it your brain booger.
Yeah, my brain booger.
Was that something that was benign? I don't remember actually the details of that.
It was a low-grade cancerous tumor, so it wasn't super cancerous, but it was low grade. So it was like 0.0 something. I don't know. I don't remember.
And so they did a pretty good job. You don't have any like motor skill fuck ups or anything like that. You can
No.
you can remember stuff pretty good.
Yeah, I did have, and I'm not sure if I think I still suffer from it, but like it's called speech aphasia, and it's basically where like, so I woke up from brain surgery and I wasn't even able to text, and I just started crying because I was so used to using my hands, and I knew what I wanted to do, but like my brain wasn't communicating to my hands or my mouth. And I had to go to physical rehabilitation for that because I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to talk again. I mean, it wasn't very severe, but it was enough to where I had to go to rehab, physical rehabilitation.
And then so all I know about your personal life really is kind of from what conversations we've had, but I didn't ever really dig too deep personally. So I didn't know how comfortable you were, but I know you've lost a lot of people that were really close to you and helped raise you. Do you think that impacted a lot? Maybe.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that was why my alcoholism was so fucking bad, is because it was like a span of 5 years. I lost my grandpa, I lost my best friend, I lost my aunt, I lost my grandma, and then I lost my mom. And like and it wasn't like, I was talking about this the other day, like it wasn't like a second cousin or like a friend of a friend. It was immediate family and my closest friend. And I wasn't able to like process after my grandpa, like I wasn't able to like process the emotions of process the emotions of grief properly. So yeah, I believe that I think that was the reason why my alcoholism was so bad, was because I just didn't know how to handle like all these deaths in a healthy way.
Well, I mean, not to make excuses, but I mean that's like haymaker after haymaker just kind of landing, you know.
Yeah.
So
And then it didn't help either, because I'm not saying I have bad friends, but like all my friends were like, "Oh yeah, if I would have had X amount of people die, I would drink too." So like I always had people enabling me. Like I knew I was an alcoholic, probably like when my grandpa died, the year before he passed away, I had gotten my first minor, and then the year after he died, I got my first DUI. So it's like I wasn't unaware of what was going on, but
And how old were you when during this 5-year time span?
20 to 25.
Okay, yeah, you're still figuring out who you are, and let
Yeah.
alone how to process emotions. That and those were the first signs you've ever dealt with death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had my uncle pass away, but I was like 6 years old, so it wasn't. I processed it in a healthy way because I didn't have alcohol.
Right.
yeah, and then you still had pretty much your whole support system was still around too.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I don't know how if you want to get into this too, but I know you were in a pretty bad relationship at one point as well.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't know if you want to get into any of that at all, or we can just move on. Whatever's.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just gonna move inside.
Yeah, no
It's getting a
problem.
little bit chilly out here.
Yeah, it's weird, you know. These crazy temperature drops. Winter out in Arizona sucks.
Dude, I'm like, so I was like I said, I was born in Prescott and raised in Flagstaff.
Yeah.
And like, I was like totally cool with having winters, and then I get to fucking Tucson and it drops to 50, and I'm like, ugh, it's like freezing.
Yeah, I was born and raised in central Illinois, where it gets -20 plus wind
Yeah.
chill. I joined the Marine Corps and live out here for a while, and it gets below 60 degrees and my knees hurt. No, but I'm sorry, but do you want to expand on the relationship or no?
Yeah, that so I've had two serious relationships. My high school sweetheart I dated him in high school, and then I decided that we wanted to be friends, and I fucked up and made the mistake of moving for him, thinking that this is it, we're getting back together, it's gonna work this time. So I moved from Prescott to Lake Havasu, and we got pregnant, and we decided to get an abortion. So like that happened, and I quickly realized that like drinking, and I was doing a couple drugs at the time, were majorly involved in our relationship, and like I did not want to bring a child into that. All four of my best friends at the time had kids, either in high school or right out of high school. So, and they're all amazing moms, but I knew that I wasn't equipped to be a mom. And I know like everybody says like, oh, you're never ready to be a mom, but I don't want kids, and I didn't want to bring a child into this world the way my parents brought me in. They were very toxic for each other, and they divorced when I was like 2, I think. And so we decided on getting an abortion. So I had that one when I was 22, and we broke up in May, had the abortion in March, broke up in May, and then it was like the type where he had just gotten out of a serious relationship prior to us getting together, and he was telling me like, oh, I'll never get back with her, but she was always popping up trying to like weasel her way in during our relationship. And guess what? He married her after we broke up.
Damn.
Yeah. And he had a kid with her. And I'm not angry about that. What I am angry about is the fact that he lied to me about and maybe, I don't know, shit changes, but I don't do dishonesty in relationships, and that one really hurt me. And at the time, my mom had just passed away, so I kept going to the bars, obviously, and like I saw them together, and I walked up to him one night. I had just spoken to his mom, and she was saying like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your mom passing. I hope you're doing okay, sweetie." And so like I knew he knew, and I walked up to him and I was drunk, and I was like, "So you're not gonna fucking say anything?" And he was like, "Uh, uh, uh, I didn't know." And so that was my first relationship, uh, first bad breakup. And then the second one I had met 6 months after. The first guy and I broke up, and we had both agreed, like we were hooking up, and we had agreed, like, hey, we don't want serious relationship, and we were both fine with that. But then within a month, he was living with me, and that went south quickly because at the time I was working at a casino, and I was drinking heavily, very heavily, and he was there for, we were like off and on for, I want to say like a year and a half. And um, him and I, he was, the first relationship ended with physical abuse. And then my second relationship was extremely emotionally abusive. And I know that I like talked to my grandma like a month into the relationship, and she was like, "You have to get out, babe. Like this is not going to change. Like I've been through 3 marriages where they were all emotionally abusive, and it doesn't change." And I didn't listen to grandma. I just kept dating him, and things got worse. My drinking got worse, and I take accountability for my part in the fact that he was the one that I was like trying to get sober for, and I feel like that 9 times out of 10 never works. And yeah, he was there for my brain surgery, and then after the brain surgery, he um, he was working in Cottonwood, and I lived in Scottsdale, and he basically didn't show up for 5 months, and we just decided to stop talking. But yeah, those are my 2 relationships.
Well, yeah. So
it's like hard to give you like an overview in a short time because I'm like, oh shit, this happened. Oh wait, this happened too.
no, it's cool. Just treat this like a free conversation. Like I'm not trying to like interview you per se. I mean, like there's shit about each other that we don't know. So I mean,
Yeah.
Let's just call it like it's you, me, Paul, and Ryan. You know, whenever he pops in every now and again. But you know, we're just having a conversation with you. We're not trying to.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't this is your life, Netflix documentary. But
But it could be. We could be rich.
Damn, we're gonna make some money off you, girl.
I want in.
This is gonna get like 50 views.
Let me ask you this, Bailey. How long have you been sober?
I have been sober. On Saturday, it'll be 11 months.
Congratulations.
Hell yeah, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And this is your first time go around in the rooms?
Yep.
Okay. So, have you noticed that you've heard your story, or have you heard your story yet?
Yeah.
Kind of weird,
and
huh?
that was like, yeah, that was the weird part because I was like thinking that I'm like so unique, and I'm like, I could relate a little bit to this person's story. I could relate a little bit to that person's. And then like I hear some stories and I'm like, holy shit, that was me. That's my story.
Yep. Yeah, that's what tripped me out. I thought I was severely unique, and no one's gone through the shit I've gone through. No one's had the trauma that's happened to me, blah, 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 blah. And it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh shit. Oh man, I'm not unique. I'm like everybody else. But then it's like, oh sweet, I am like everybody else. There's like this transition that happens that like all of a sudden, like I'm sure you like all of us that been yearning for that sense of belonging. You know, that place that you're able to be like, oh my God, I can breathe. I can be me and not be worried about being judged for who I am.
Yeah. And like a big thing for me was because I had because I was the unique one in my friends. Like I had 5 people in the span of 5 years pass away, and literally nobody could relate to me. Like I think I'd be drunk and posting about this person that I missed, and like I think I'd get like one person that was like, "Oh yeah, I had a friend pass away last year," and I'm like, "That's not my no, that's not even the same."
That's just somebody trying to hop onto the bandwagon of, oh, I'm there for you, but not
but
really.
also feel bad for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, feel bad for me too.
Well, that's that whole thoughts and prayers thing.
Yep.
Have you heard? Do you know Anthony Jeselnik, that comedian? He had a great bit back in the day about the thoughts and prayers people. And it was, and he listed off a bunch of tragedies and thoughts and prayers, and it's like he said it was every time you say thoughts and prayers, it's like, yeah, remember them, but remember me too. I'm sad.
I'm sad too, guys. Pay attention to me.
Yeah, basically. So obviously I've never worked a program. I didn't do the traditional rehab. Paul's the one that has worked the AA, but I think he ran off to go to the bathroom or something. Oh, Paul's thirsty.
He's thirsty.
Yeah, he's grabbing some water. Poor guy, he's parched.
All right, I'm back.
He did like half of a 1,100-pound leg press today, and he's real tired about it.
Hey, 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 hey now.
No, so what is your experience living in one of these houses? I mean, so it's something that I don't necessarily get because I've never done it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting, and I feel like it's interesting too because it's my first time getting sober. I didn't even know there was a fucking year-long treatment center. Like I had no idea that existed. I thought like 6 months was the max. And I remember being in jail, like pleading with my grandma. She's like, I know 28 days won't work for you. And I was like, yeah, I agree. So how about 3 months? So we agreed on 3 months. And then I come here when I was still in jail, she was like, oh, I think 6 months. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like having a panic attack. I'm like, I can't be out of the real world for 6 months, Grandma. Like, what am I going to do? But then I saw myself where I was at 6 months, and I am extremely grateful that this is a 12-month long treatment center because I was nowhere near ready. I have the support of a therapist, a psychiatrist for my sleep meds, numerous staff members that have been through exactly what I'm going through. And I'm surrounded by peers who are amazing. Like I'm gonna not like a certain few people, but it's their stories are like what connects me to them. And I'm very grateful that it's a co-ed program because I feel like if it was all girls, I would fucking shoot myself. Like I couldn't imagine living with all women.
Dude, I live with all women and one little boy. I can relate to that, I guess. No, so with jail, can you talk about your court case? Is that done or is it still going?
It's still going. I don't think I want to talk too much about it because I don't know what's going to happen, but I can share some things. I mean,
No, of course. I'm not trying to get you to dig yourself a hole before it's all said and done.
Right.
So how long did they have you just in county for a while?
Yeah, they had me in Maricopa County Sheriff Office, and I was there for 2 months. And if my grandma hadn't bailed me out, I would still be there. So I'm very grateful that my grandma has helped me throughout this whole process and didn't drop me.
Yeah.
Were you LBJ?
No, it was Estrella.
Oh, yeah, I've heard stories about Estrella.
Yeah. It was fun.
Is that your first time in jail?
So for my first DUI, I had to do 9 days work release, but that's not even the same as being in county.
No, not at all.
No, I was like, Grandma, get me out of here.
Yeah, jail's not fun for anybody. No. Wait until you talk to cast that have served decades in or out, and I went to a retreat for all men's 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
This cat had 29 years behind bars.
Jesus.
I'm like,
Damn.
fuck, dude. I'm 37. That guy's been in there almost as long as I've been alive. That's the trip. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're interrupt away. This has been it's been mostly just me and Bailey talking, man. Jump in.
All right, I'll jump in then.
I mean, you both actually worked the program. You guys could talk about it.
No, absolutely. And
I've been to like what 2 AA meetings.
yeah, in support of me.
Woo, Paul. You know.
Yeah.
Go, Paul. We're a little cheerleader in the back.
Hell yeah. No, he was there for my 6 month.
Yep.
And for my 90 day or 9 month.
9 month.
Yeah,
And then
6 months, 9 month.
Then I went to your birthday.
My birthday for the 1 year. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I had, because like with my legal case, my lawyer was telling me that I would be in prison or jail by December. So like it's accustomed to have your 1 year chip presented to you. But I didn't. My 1 year would be January 21st, and I didn't know if I would be here or not. So I had asked a staff member if she would present me I think it was my 9-month chip, and it's fucking nerve-wracking because like I got it at the biggest meeting we go to, and I remember just like before like my hands were all clammy, and I was like getting super nervous.
So you're in the middle of a indictment right now?
I don't know what the word indictment means, but I'm in the middle of a legal case.
Okay, indictment means you were charged with something.
Yeah.
Okay. So, speaking from my own experience, I was arrested on multiple charges, 2 DUIs, possession, and intent to distribute.
Mhm.
And thank God. So, when I got arrested, I only did 2 nights in jail, got out, and then didn't hear shit for almost 6 months. I'm thinking to myself, like, fuck yeah, dude, I fell through the cracks. I don't have to worry about shit. This is awesome. And the day before my birthday, I get fucking my court papers. So, by the grace of God, I've been doing this program for about 6 months leading up to that. So, I go to my court case. They dropped the intent to distribute. They dropped the second DUI, and then charged me with paraphernalia and the first DUI. All because I had my sponsor write a letter. I had my chips to show proof that I was working the program, that this whole incident had changed my life. Now, the first 9 months of my sobriety, I got arrested 4 times on dumbass shit. And the last time broke my probation. And by the grace of God, this is how I'm a firm believer, like my higher power I choose to call God. And I'm a firm believer that God can do for me that I cannot do for myself. And when I got arrested the 4th time, I knew I broke probation. And when I got to court, I got the same fucking judge that gave me leniency when I got arrested originally. She's like, look, by law, I have to sentence you for a year.
Yeah.
But I see you're still doing everything that you need to be doing. She's like, but you have any interactions with any other cops from here on out? Because my probation ends in 2023. That I'm fucked. She's got like, there's nothing she can do. Her hands are tied. Like she's given me my get out of jail free, like literally card a couple times now. But the whole reason why I'm bringing this up is continue doing what you're doing. Get the letters of recommendation from people that you're living in the house with, your sponsor, your therapist. I'm sure this is not the first time that they've been asked to write letters. Have all that set up. When's your court case?
My trial date is January 22nd.
Okay. So you have about a month to get all that. I would honestly have all that set up, ready to go.
I already have all that.
Oh, you do?
Hell yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I have 31 character references.
Beautiful.
My sponsor, nobody at Burning Tree, that's the treatment center I'm at, nobody at Burning Tree was able to write one because legally they can't put Burning Tree West's name on documents saying that I'm going to, So I had my sponsor write one. At the time, there was 10 people that was living in the house with us, and this was like a couple months ago. And like we do part of living here, we have to do community service every week. So I have every single UA that I've taken negative. I have all my community service hours. I have over 300 meetings I've attended. And I had all that included in, I think she called it a mitigating packet.
Yep.
And then also there was legal negligence on the two sheriff's office that were working that day. So she included those. There was like two separate instances. So that's what we're waiting on right now, is for the prosecutor to review the mitigating packet. And he gave me a plea about a month ago. So with my 3 charges, which were 2 counts of endangerment and assault with a deadly weapon being my vehicle, I was facing 7 to 21 years in prison. And the victim actually showed up to my court case and said, I don't want her going to prison. We're not going to see anything good come out of this if she's in prison. So like you said, like I believe 100%, like my higher powers, which are the people who have passed away in my life, I call them my guardian angels. I believe the universe is a higher power. I believe the feeling of love and kindness and compassion is my higher power. So all of those, I had been praying for the victim's safety, the prosecutor to understand how much hard work I've put in to not be that same person I was January 20th. And I was just astonished by how many fucking prayers of mine were answered. And yeah, so now we're just waiting on the prosecutor to, I was facing 7 to 21 years, and then he gave me a plea offer of 1.5 to 3 years. So from 7 to 21 to 1.5 to 3, that's amazing.
Right.
And that was before he had gotten the mitigating packet, so.
Dude, that's not a god shot, having the victim come in and work on your behalf. I don't know what is.
Seriously. I was just like, because like I looked over and I'm like, it was like this weird vibe. I was like, why am I gravitating towards this woman? And I was so drunk that day that I didn't remember what anybody looked like. Like, obviously, I remember what the cops looked like because I sobered up around them. And my lawyer comes out and she's like, hey, the victim's here. And she talked to the prosecutor. And I was like, shh. In my head, I'm like, I just started crying. I was like, shut the fuck up. And
I would have fallen on my knees, man.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Were you able to speak with her, or is that against the rules right now?
No, legally right now I'm not allowed to get in contact with victims, but I will be able to make amends to them when we have our settlement conference.
Okay. Speaking of amends, have you gone through your steps?
Yes, I finished my steps, and now like I'm at the point to where I finished my steps a couple months ago. And I really wanted to start sponsoring women, but right now it's not really like a smart choice because I'm the type of person that doesn't want to start something I can't finish, and I don't know where I'm going to be in a month. So whatever happens, if I go to prison, I'll sponsor women in there. If I go to jail, I'll sponsor women in there. But if I stay out, I'm going to start sponsoring women as soon as I can.
You mind if I give you a little bit brutal honesty and some suggestion?
No.
Beautiful. So, first off, with all due respect, fuck that noise. You have something to offer right now.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what's going to happen, you don't know what the fuck's going to happen tomorrow. You can be saving somebody's life right now. And I'll tell you what, the second I started sponsoring dudes, that's when the juice really starts to flow.
Yeah.
You got an incredible story to offer, Bailey. And especially what's even going on in your life right now. Guarantee you there's somebody going through something similar with you. And you know what, call it, if I'm like you, like if I gotta finish something if I start it. And what my issue was before I started sponsoring guys was, I don't know the book inside out. I gotta be perfect. I gotta know blah 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 blah. I was coming up with my own excuses of why not to sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
But my sponsor sat me down and was like, that's all bullshit. That's your disease trying to get back at you and say, hey, you know what? You don't need to be doing this right now.
Yeah.
My suggestion is go find a sponsor tomorrow and watch the
Yeah,
miracles that will happen.
I felt like for like the past couple months, like something was missing in like my daily life, and I know that it's that. I had to switch sponsors a couple months ago, but I spoke with both of them about it, and they completely agree. So I don't know if I'll go out tomorrow and find a sponsor, but I'm definitely down to uh, keep that open.
You're going to hit me up and be like, oh, Paul, you're right. I'm like, I know.
I know. I hear all these amazing stories about like, oh, the second that I started sponsoring someone, it's just because like I love how the program works. Like you work your steps and you get the work done, and then you get to share your story. And like you said, I have a really fucking strong story. I know that um I will be able to help someone. It's just a matter of like me. I mean, I guess I could sponsor people, but I would have to like
You
give them a
can.
warning. No, I'd have to like give them warning.
No,
like,
you
hey,
wouldn't. Why?
and like because it's not fair to them. Like
You're
starting
future
something.
tripping right now. You have control of the future? Dude, if you do, man, let me know some lottery tickets. Straight up. You don't
No,
know
but like
shit.
I can't work the steps in like less than a month with a person.
Again, you're future tripping. Start with step 1. That's it. That's all you need to do. One day at a time, right? We're only given a reprieve. One day at a time.
Yeah.
Damn, if you already know what's going on in a month, man, I need to be around you. You know what I'm saying, though? Like, I mean this all in sincerity and love. Like, get off your ass, man. Start doing it now. Like, I don't know what you're waiting for. You're scared, whatever it may be. That's for you to decide and for you to know. However, I'm telling you from experience, like, and something else that you're going to hear 1,000 times over. You may sponsor 1,000 women, but be lucky to get 5 through the steps.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of this beast, man. I at one time had 6 sponsees. I have 1 right now.
I remember that shit.
6?
Yeah. Yeah, I had 6 and I'd have big book studies at my house, and then one fired me, and the rest fucking relapsed, and I got 1 guy on step 10 right now. My first sponsee. Bless you.
Bless you.
She says bless you.
I'm not saying it.
Jake's like, I'm not saying it, you fucker.
Yeah, you don't need to give them warnings. You don't need to say, you just, hey, my name's Bailey. You have a sponsor? No? Cool, let's start going.
Cool. Now you do.
Yeah. But, you know what? That's exactly what happened to me. So, the night before I went to my, so I originally got court ordered to do rehab back in 2008 and got kicked out of the state of Arizona. Well, asked to leave nicely. And my mother is an attorney by the grace of God. I was able to, so I was facing 3 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. And my mother got me to do 1 year house arrest at her house, and then I had to do a 60-day in treatment. And so I had already kind of gone through the steps and did all that bullshit, right? But this time around, I went back out. I was working in a bar. For some reason, I thought that was a good idea to do sober.
Yeah, and, that's how we met.
Yeah, that's exactly how we met.
Did you ever go down on Mill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mary Margarita Rocks?
No.
Oh, it was already.
I didn't go to Mill a lot because I lived in Scottsdale, like 5 minutes away from Old Town, so it's always at Old Town.
Oh, okay.
It was already the country bar at that point.
So, did you ever go to Martini Ranch?
No.
Ooh, don't bring up that bar, bro.
Oh, bro.
Fuck that. We're not getting into that. I don't want to talk about the trial I had to be in.
Right. So I fucking get handed a bump of blow, and I'm like, fuck it, why not? And then 8 years, I'm back out on the run. And the night before I got sober, I was in a blackout, came to my backyard with a cigarette burn on my leg. I'm like, all right, got 3 choices. I'm going to take my fiance's 22, shoot myself. Well, I'm going to be able to get enough rounds off to make sure the job's done. Probably not. Okay. oh, I could hang myself. I live on a 2-story, you know, if I can make it dramatic, I'll be in front of the front door, blah, blah, blah. No, I'll probably pick the wrong fucking post. I'll break it, and I have to explain a broken leg. All right. I'll slip my wrist. Well, done that once already. Got locked up for 72-hour hold. That didn't work. Then this is what I like to call my first God shot. Type in AA in Google. Typed in AA. Now, at this point, I was a habitual heroin, pill popper, and drinker mixed in with about anywhere from 1.5 grams to 2 grams of wax smoking a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I look in AA, and there's a meeting at 6:30 in the morning. This is probably about 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I could probably be sober enough to go to it. So I go to the 6:30 a.m. meeting. I sit right by the door. As soon as, because I'm just kind of doing this, like you said, just to appease the girlfriend, you know, just to say, hey, you know, I'll back off for a little bit. I think things have gotten a little out of control. And so, hey, my sponsee's calling me. So,
Ears must have been ringing.
right? The meeting ends, and right before I make it to the door, guy taps me on my shoulder. He's like, hi, my name's Jeff. What's yours? Paul. You have a sponsor? And in my head, I was saying yes, but my lips said no. And I was like, fuck. And so he's like, you do now. And right off the bat, started working the steps. Well, I thought just my problem was with heroin, Percocets, and alcohol. Weed was just a medicine, man. Like, come on, like, how hard, you know, it's harmless. So for the first 2.5 weeks, I was still going to meetings and shit, but smoking weed. And I'm like, dude, this is fucking easy, man. Why didn't I get sober a long time ago? And I'd go and do my first step where we admit that we're powerless. And I decided to come clean. That was my second God shot. And he asked me how much I was smoking. I told him. He's like, you really using that for a medicine? I'm like, no. And so my new sobriety date became July 7th. Been sober ever since. It hasn't been easy, though. I'm sure it hasn't been easy for you. There's times, you know. Let me ask you this. You're at 11 months. Has the obsession been removed for you?
Yes and no. It's like I am able to like run the tapes through and realize that when the thought comes, like I can like be like, hey, remember this, and this that happened last time? Don't let that happen again. So I'm thankful for that. But like the thoughts still come like, oh man, a drink would be really great right now. Or, oh, my friends are all out partying. I want to party with them. But then I'm immediately like, it's like a train hits me like, no, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I get that.
I got you.
Yeah.
You still get that?
All the time.
Yeah.
I was so Bailey and I had like a test call earlier today. I was telling her the exact same thing. It was like it comes around. It's not something that'll ever like leave, but it's just something you can like recognize better as time comes along. You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just having that level of awareness.
But you know, and she's already like, you know, the thought will come and she'll be like, oh yeah, that's what happened last time. You know, and it,
Well, that's for someone like Bailey though. That's still fresh in her head. For someone like you, that's been 4 years. Are you able to recall those memories?
I didn't even remember my 4-year date.
True.
Remember? Like,
True.
Oh yeah, dude. I remember. I know fucked up Jake. I'll never forget that guy. I never want to be that guy again. You know. So that's something that like as long as you remember that you don't want to be that, you know, what you were when you were still in, you know, active addiction, you're gonna be okay. Artie Lang has a podcast out now, and he talks about.
How do I know that name?
He's the guy. He was on Mad TV for a while. Howard Stern co-host.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
His nose is caved in now from all his coke use. But he was saying he says he straight up tells people all the time. He's like, I understand that I have to take this one day at a time. I can't say that I'll never get high again, but I can tell you I'm not getting high today.
Yep.
You know.
That's literally what I like tell so in this program we have to do, there's like, I think it's 2 family workshops, and like the first one, students aren't allowed to attend it. And then the second one, it's like a workshop with your family included, and like the therapists are there, and you get to set boundaries and they get to set boundaries. And like, that's the exact same thing I told my grandma. I'm like, hey, I can't promise you that I'm going to stay sober for the rest of my life, but I'm going to promise you that I'm going to actively try my hardest to not be the same person I was. And because like my mom and my dad did that same shit to me, where they're like, they would fuck up, do the drug or do the pill or do the alcohol again, and like make all these promises to my brother and I. And like every single time that those promises were broke, I was heartbroken. And I didn't want to do that to my grandma. So I just told her, I was like, since this is like my first time honestly trying to get help, I was like, look, I can't promise you that I'm going to stay sober forever. But I can promise you that I'm going to try my best to not be the person that I was with alcohol in my life, because alcohol will not be a part of my life for today.
Right on.
I can dig that. Have you, has your dad reached out?
My dad is in prison.
Oh, hey.
Yep. Yeah, and that was like really hard for me because I had lost so many people. And then this all happened like July of 2018, while I was just getting over recovery for my brain surgery. And like a year, not even a year yet, after my grandma had passed, his mom. And so like for him doing all this shit, I understand that like addiction's a fucking disease, and addiction can grab hold of people and turn them into somebody that they're not, because I've seen it happen with myself. I've seen it happen with multiple friends, and I've seen it happen with my dad. So I understand that part. But what I wasn't understanding is like, I felt like he was choosing to leave me, and choosing when all the other people in my life were dying because of death. I felt like he was actively choosing to not be a part of my life. And that was really hard. But we started talking again. And like currently we're on good terms. We communicate via letter because I'm not working a job right now, so I'm not able to like put money to get a card and stuff to call him.
Yeah. So how's that? How's that working with your sister though? I know that you have a younger sister. Are you able to?
It's good. That's like one thing, and I actually made amends to her on Thanksgiving. I never like did anything bad to her, but I felt like really terrible about actively choosing alcohol over spending time with her. Like my brother lives out of state, and he has a good excuse for not spending time with her or not being around, but I was 2 hours away from her, and I was choosing alcohol over my little sister. And so like I tried to explain it in like, because she's 12 years old, I tried to explain it in like the most 12-year-old way that I could. But then at the same time, I wanted to be like honest with her, because I know that like everybody has their own, they have to learn on their own, but I don't want my sister going through the same shit that I went through. And if I have to be brutally honest about what I'm going through, then that's what I'm going to do. And I told her, I was like, I have an ankle monitor on right now. And I was like, Sissy, this thing is because I got into a drunk driving accident. And she was like, oh. And like my sister is very fucking awkward. So like the whole situation was extremely awkward, but I did the amends. And that's what like I'm really grateful today for, is because I get to be an active sister, and I get to be someone in her life, and not just a sister that only comes around on holidays.
She live up here with us?
She lives in Marana. So that's
And
awesome
where?
for me, because Marana, it's like
Is
30
it a
minutes
city?
south. Yeah.
Here in Arizona?
Yeah.
Huh?
More by Tucson.
Oh, shit,
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
How often you go to Tucson, bud?
I've only been there once.
Okay.
It's a shithole.
It's very pretty though. The mountains out here are amazing.
Sure.
Yeah, Brittany and I went up to Mount Lemon. You saw
Yeah.
that. We went and got our family pictures done.
I have that on my wall.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hey. I texted Brittany. I was like, hey, did you send that letter? And she's like, no, you never gave me his address. That's my bad.
Yeah, I was just telling her before we started. I was like, yeah, because I wanted to put it on my refrigerator. They see all of our fucking friends posting the pictures that they got. I'm like, motherfuckers, I ain't got mine yet.
I'll just bring you one next week, dude.
I won't be here next week.
Next week's Christmas, huh?
I'll be in Cali.
Next weekend. Next Wednesday is Christmas.
I'm going back home, dog.
Oh my God. Time.
Going back to Cali?
Yes, ma'am. For a week. First time my mother's had all 3 of her kids and all of her 5 grandkids together for Christmas in 5 years.
Same house. There will be blood.
No, there won't because I'll be sober. There would have been a couple years ago.
Right? Yeah. Dude, alcohol, it's like, I get either very fucking depressed, happy for like a good 30 minutes, or I just get very fucking mean. It's...
Is it depending on the alcohol?
That's what I thought. Like when I first started drinking, I was drinking like mixed drinks and liquor and stuff. And I quickly realized that I would get, just like my dad, try and fight people. And I had no business fighting people. And so I was like, okay, I'll switch to beer. So I like stuck to beer for the remainder of my drinking career. And it was like off and on. But I would get violent a lot. Especially with the men that I was dating, the 2 relationships I was in. And that's why I was saying, like, I take accountability of my part, because I was not a nice girlfriend when I was drinking. And I was drunk like 80% of the time.
Yeah. What time did you start your drinking?
I started drinking, I had my first drink when I was 13.
No. What time of the day?
When did I start drinking? When?
Like when you're, what you're just talking about, how you're just literally or sticking to beer. What time would you have your first drink?
I was pretty good when I was drinking to make sure that I would like not drink while I was working. So like immediately after getting off, which was around 5, I would like start cleaning and start drinking and start making dinner. And
oh, so you weren't drinking during the day?
No.
Oh wow, you were a functioning alcoholic.
Yeah, and that's like the thing that was like fucking me up, because I was like, well, I don't have to have alcohol every single minute of every single day like these people. So I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink on days that I work, but when it got to the end, I was working at this one dental office, and I remember once that I had to go get shooters in the morning because I was hungover from the night before, and I knew that I couldn't make it through my workday without alcohol.
Do you ever get the shakes?
No, I would get like, see, I don't know what, like, I've heard this before, and I've talked to people in like my treatment facility about it. Like I would get like hungover, I would start throwing up, my hands would be shaky, but it wasn't like tremors. Like I wasn't, so I don't know if it was like.
No, you had a mild form of it. That shakes. Is if you can't hold your hands steady right when you wake up, you got the shakes.
So
you got the shakes, right?
Dude, yeah. The first time I actively remember detoxing was it was on my way to Iraq the second time, and we landed in Kuwait. And by that point, it'd been over 24 hours since I've had anything in my system, and I was like, fuck.
Oh, fuck. So miserable, dude.
So that first 5 days or whatever, we were actually in Kuwait getting acclimated to the desert. It was fucking miserable.
Oh, yeah,
I did not have a good time.
Clean out the butt.
What was crazy about that is I got, I spent that whole deployment for the most part sober. I remember I was trying to make wine. I was trying to make prison wine because I was like, I can't be sober this entire I'm in Iraq again. This is bullshit. But and then a buddy of mine, his mom would send him special gifts that we got to sip on every now and again. But for the most part, I was sober.
How'd that wine turn out?
Gross. But I remember I was like, all right, dude. By the end of that deployment, I was like 210 pounds. I was in shape again. I was running. I was lifting weights every day. I was eating good. And I was like, this is how it's going to be. This is how I'm going to be. I'm going to get back to the States. And I'm just going to, I'm going to keep living this life because I feel so great. And then I got back to the States and I was like, wait, I can just grab booze? Yeah, I'm just going to grab booze.
Booze sounds like a fantastic idea.
Booze is way better. But so I went from having abs for the first time in my life back to being just shit hammered. It was fantastic.
Hell yeah, man. That's what always tripped me out, is that I was literally just talking about this with a brother of mine, that this whole time, and back in the back in the 20s when Prohibition was going on, and you had bootleggers, right? And in order to test out not viscosity, to test out the purity of the alcohol, they'd fucking light it on fire. And we're ingesting this, dude. Like, and it's fucking legal to do on damn near every fucking corner in the United States. Yet someone smokes a little bit of fucking weed, God forbid. Or, in my opinion, fucking doctors are the biggest crooks and the fucking criminals in this entire nation. The pharmaceutical business is a fucking joke. Especially with this fentanyl shit, man. I haven't told the guys yet, but I just found out this is the first person that I actually know since I've been in recovery that's passed away. And it was from fentanyl overdose. And like he was good.
It's like amazing to me how socially acceptable alcohol is. Like, even my dad wrote me from prison. He was like, he said the same thing. He's like, it's so socially acceptable to drink, and that's why it's hard for people like you and I to stop, because drinking is okay in the eyes of America, or not even America, like the whole fucking world. And he's like, I just saw a commercial, Coors Light commercial, where someone was drinking a beer in the shower. And I was like, yep. And that's what was like very hard for me when I stopped, when I knew that I was an alcoholic, but I needed to stop. I was like, I will never be able to stop, because all of my friends drink. Literally every single one drinks. All of my family drinks. There's no way that I'd be strong enough to quit drinking. And I think about that a lot, because I'm like every month for like my birthday, I'm like, damn, if you would have told me while I was drinking that I would one day be celebrating 11 months of sobriety, I would have thought you were fucking crazy.
It's a trip, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man, that you're doing it, man. And you can be an inspiration to other people, which brings me back. Fucking sponsor women.
Quit yelling at me.
No, it's that was something that I struggled. Like, I'll be honest, I had a reservation that I was going to relapse 2 months ago. When did I go? October. So my sobriety has not been fun. I'll be straight up honest about that. The obsession has not been removed. Every day I think about drinking or smoking, or the fact that, maybe I'm not a fucking addict. Maybe I can. I got the conscious clarity now. I can fucking control it this time. Blah 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 blah. And so my sponsor, who took me through my first set of steps, had moved away to Colorado, and
We miss you,
it was yeah. I'm actually seeing him tomorrow. Yeah. So he moved to Colorado, and I used it as an excuse to not look for anybody else, because now he wasn't there to hold me accountable. And I was slipping like bad. Like, I was only going to one meeting. And that was because it's my home group, and I'm the treasurer of my home group. I was totally withdrawing, and I was dead set. So my family had bought tickets to go to Germany. We're going for 3 weeks, all paid for. And I loved beer, like craft beer. Like, I didn't drink that Coors Light bullshit, but it's each their own. So they're known for their fucking beer. Like, I got a beer stein from Germany from when my parents went there the first time. And I'm sitting there at my home group meeting, and then I'm chairing it because the guy wasn't able to be there, and this cat is speaking. And I don't know what it was that he said, man, but it allowed me to be open and honest at that point in time. I was like, dude, I'm going to Germany in 2 weeks. I want to fucking drink, and I wasn't going to tell anybody about it, because my family doesn't think I'm a fucking addict. My mother thinks it's my thyroid issue. I love you, Mom, but she just, I don't think she's willing to accept
Yeah,
because
that heroin gets you,
Yeah.
that thing gets your thyroid
Yeah.
going.
But I think for her, and I could be speaking false statements right now, but I think if for her to admit that I have this problem, that she's somewhat to blame for it, and so which is completely false. But I ended up asking that dude to be my sponsor, and that's now my sponsor, Nate McKamey. Shout out. And I'm on my third step right now with him, and I think about that shit still. I got 18 months on the 7th. January 7th will be 18 months for me, and this is the longest amount I've been sober in 23 years, like almost as long as you've been alive. And I still I'm hoping one day it'll be fucking removed, because there's times when I'm like, well, fuck, dude, if I didn't mix the pills or the heroin or the alcohol with weed, I was good.
Right.
No one knew I was fucking stoned. And I need it. And it's like it's all bullshit, man. Been doing just fine. Now my depression is another issue, but like they talk about in the book, if you need outside help, go get the outside help. Which I'm actually, my insurance resets next month. I'm gonna seek out a therapist because I am severely depressed.
Yeah, that's something that I am very grateful for. There's a lot that I'm grateful for, but is that when I first got here, part of the treatment is that you actively see the therapist once
Which
a
is
week.
so awesome.
So, and that was like a huge game changer for me, because when my grandpa passed and I was living in Parker, it was like 3 years after he passed, and I asked my grandma for help, and I was like, she paid for like 2 therapy visits, but I didn't go back. I just continued to drink, and I saw the positive sides from therapy and I loved it, but I didn't go back. I decided beer was more important than anything else.
Well, duh.
And like, yeah, hello.
That's basic math.
I had the most amazing therapist. She actually just moved to Florida. But she like completely changed my life, and I will forever be grateful for her. She really helped me to see, like, because in my addiction, I was constantly just like clinging on to people because of our history, or clinging on to them because they were my family. Like, there was always a reason why I kept these people in my life, because I had lost so many people that I wasn't about to cut people off. That was not even an option for me. And that was really fucking unhealthy. And through my sobriety, through working with her, she was able to help me understand that it doesn't mean that this is forever. It's just redefining the relationship and seeing what does work for you and what doesn't. And that was a huge thing that I learned. And I had to do it with like, it was like, there was like a month where like it happened with 3 people. I'm like, I was like looking up, I was like, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing to me?
There's
But
always a purpose.
I had like my brother came down in July, and we had like a blowout fight. Like, we had never had a fight that bad. And I didn't say anything, and like I talked to my therapist about it. And like 5 months went by. I mailed him his amends letter, because obviously I wasn't going to do that one in person. He lives in Reno, and I didn't feel safe to do it in person. So I mailed him that, no answer. And then he calls me last Friday. Oh, I can't say anything because he told me not to say anything. Never mind. Not going to tell that story.
Disregard.
Did it end well?
Yeah, it did. And
Okay.
like, I was very thankful that he even fucking picked the phone up and thought to call me. Like, that alone was amazing. And I'm just very, very, very grateful that I didn't revert back to old behaviors, and I didn't try to fix things. Because like, some people, they need to have time to be mad. They need to have time to just be fucking pissed.
Yep.
And I think my brother's one of them. And it took 5 months, but we're back to talking, and I'm very grateful for that.
Extremely grateful, because that 5 months could be 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm very happy to hear that. That's so cool. I love hearing stories like that. What the fuck?
All right. So this isn't a a live streaming video, but you just missed the most suspicious looking dog we've ever seen.
That was not suspicious. That was creepy, dude.
It looked like he was got caught doing something. Like,
or it was seeing something that we can't see.
Right? She does that a lot. She stares at walls and she'll like tilt her head and she'll just stare at a spot on the wall for like a good 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's a ghost. Boomer. Yeah, you got ghosts in your house. Straight up.
Or it's dog autism.
No, dogs are totally... I'm a firm believer that dogs are keen to that shit. Because my dogs did that in our last house all the fucking time. And I would feel weird energies. This house, I don't at all. And the dogs don't look at fucking weird spots.
Cleo would never do that shit. She's too lazy about it.
No, that's not true. She would.
Dude, whatever. If there's a ghost in my house, she'd be like, whatever, just scratch my back. I don't give a fuck. Go back to sleep.
She would.
I'm 807 years old. I don't give a shit about nothing.
Right on.
Oh, sorry to veer off topic, but like, Ruth has discovered the dogs.
I know. I saw the video that you sent out today. That was so cool.
That was so cute.
Well, so that was her. Like, she has just become mobile. She's doing like the Army Carl butt scoot,
right?
Roll to place. But so Loki, the little Chiweenie, will get up and like lick her in the face and then run away because he's he's part Chihuahua. But Cleo, she's just old as fuck. So she just like lays there. She's like, whatever, kids, pull on my tail. That's fine. I don't care.
She'll be used as a stepping ladder soon. Now
Cleo,
it's like on the couch.
Dude, I doubt that, dude. Cleo's like, I don't know. That might actually make her mad. Cleo's old. So that dog is the best drunk purchase I ever made.
Does Bailey not know this story?
Have I not told you how I bought this dog?
Oh my God.
So I had moved out to Tempe with a bunch of the Marines from my unit, and we were living together. And I went out to lunch with one of my roommates, and then his mom and his family. And it was at a PF Chang's. And it was across the way from the Chandler Mall. And they had they used to have that Puppy Mill evil pet store there.
Yeah.
And so I had drank like 3 bottles of sake and a couple, Kirin's, and
that's it.
Yeah. Either like I was not walking was a difficult task. And I looked at him. I was like, "We gotta go to this puppy store. They got a basset hound. I'm buying it." And then I named off like a whole bunch of other different breeds of dogs. Like I was just dead set on buying a dog that day. So we went in, and she was the last puppy in our litter. She was like the female runt. So even full grown, she's still not entirely too big. But yeah, I spent like $2,500 on this basset hound puppy in the puppy package. Best drunk purchase I ever made.
Dude, speaking of which, so
okay, hold on. Look at our dog again. Oh,
tell her there's a fucking ghost
sitting there staring at the back of the couch, or not even.
There's a ghost, dude. I'm telling you. So,
what were you saying?
My fiance,
Ryan, you so
God.
pretty.
I was gonna say, dude, that looks good, bro.
Sorry.
So, I live with my fiance, our 4 dogs, and our cat, and a fish. But this died last week. So our lightest dog is 65 pounds. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I get home from the gym, taking a shower, and walks my fiance, and she's like, "So have you seen that sign?" I'm like, "Sign? What sign?" On Higley and Pecos, the sign. I'm like, "No." She's like, "I did something stupid." And every time she started out with saying that sentence, a fucking dog occurred. And I'm like, "Are you talking about the French bulldog puppy sign?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, I called him. I was like, "Dude, we do not need another fucking dog. I don't care how small it is, man. We do not need another fucking dog." She's like, No. It's great. The husband's a veterinarian. The wife's a so-and-so. They're very good with the breeds. There's 3 left. They're all boys, and they're blah, 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 blah. She's like, "And guess how much?" I'm like, $1,000. She's like, "No, only $2,500. I'm like, "You're out of your fucking mind, dude. No, we're broke, and we're not. No. Not happening. She's like, no, do you have any idea how cheap that is? I'm like, it's $2,500 fucking dollars, man. Like, that's not cheap.
Yeah.
Like, every one of our dogs is adopted. I refuse. Like, don't get me wrong. When I go to a mall, I have to go into the puppy stores. Just what I have to do.
If you don't, you're a psycho.
Exactly. So, but I cannot find it in my heart to go buy a brand new dog. Like I want to rescue. Like that's how, and all 4 of my dog, like my dog Hogan, these guys can attest. He's the coolest fucking dog in the world. He's 105 pounds, half black lab, half husky, looks like a wolf, coolest fucking dog in the world. I actually have him registered to me for PTSD, and he's my therapy dog. I mean, he's literally my best friend. And I don't know where I was going with that story.
Is that why he always walks up and stands next to me?
Yeah.
Fucking weirdo.
Dude, he loves fucking everybody, man.
He's like, hey, are you going through some shit?
Yep.
Yeah, I was.
It's like when people ask you how you're doing when you're emotional, like, God, why did you ask me?
Yeah. Dude, he will sense it out, man. It's a trip. But I love, like, if I could have it my way, I'd be living in Montana right now. My background is construction, and I had to get out of that field because of the environment. And I would love to build my own home, 3,000 square feet with a basement, wraparound porch, 3 acres of land, some horses, some cattle, some chicken, some goats, and about 13 dogs. Cut up all forms of identification, have no cell phone. Leave me the fuck alone, I'll leave you alone. See, he hears a ghost, man. I'm telling you.
Or is everybody coming home?
No, they came home already, but I made the mistake of leaving the back door open, so
Mistakes were
she's back out
made.
there.
So
She's out there running amok.
you haven't explained it yet, or how are we doing on time?
I don't give a shit.
Okay. What is the living situation? You said co-ed. You're at a PHP, right?
Huh?
You're at a PHP.
I'm not sure what PHP is.
PHP is primary. I'm gonna fuck this up. Primary housing. I forget what the last. It's essentially a treatment. So you have a rehab living. You have your UAs. You have a doctor on site. Are you one of those, or are you like just in sober living?
No, it's not a PHP. We don't have a doctor.
Okay.
But it's like we have in-house IOP.
Okay.
And they're like clients can technically do IOP alone, but it's all of the people here live in the treatment facility, the housing. So like everybody goes to IOP.
So you guys have like a rec area at the house, or no?
We just moved into a new house. The last house we lived in, the women lived in the back casitas, and then the men lived in the main house. But this new houses, there's 7 of them. So like the women live in one. There's a staff house, and then there's a male house, and then the rest of the 4 houses will be sober living. And the owner's actually down here today, trying to get that going. And I'm at the part of my program to where I should already be graduated. And so it's really hard for me to like keep my cool about certain things, because technically, like, they've graduated people at 9 months while I've been in treatment, and they're trying to figure out sober living. And like, I'm down to stay here until like my court case, but it's
You're
they're just
needing your own space.
Yeah.
Tired of other chicks' hair in the drain and shit.
9 months is a long time, dude.
Well, wait a second. You say graduate. I thought you were in a year program, though.
So it is a year program, but if students are successfully cooperating with treatment, then they usually graduate them at 9 months.
And what does that mean, graduate? You move out?
Like successful completion. Yeah, I'd move out. But I'd move out of the treatment center and move into their sober living.
Oh, so you'd still be like on the compound. It's just you have your own space.
Yeah.
And a little bit more freedom, too.
And yeah, a lot more freedom. Like right now, currently, I have to wake up every day at 6:30 for morning meditation. And I have to do certain things, like if I don't have work or school, which...
Okay, real quick, I'm going to stop you. You get to.
That's true.
That's the perspective you get to. Because
Yes.
guess what?
You sound like Mike. He's a good guy that works here.
Well, Mike sounds like a great guy. But no, just realistically, you could be
Yeah.
like you said, you could be sitting in prison right now.
That's very true.
So you get to wake up to do meditation. You get to be in this house. You get to be, it's just a simple change up in words, man, and it's pretty powerful. Words are powerful.
Have you noticed? Have you been working on like mindset changes where like you force yourself to focus on the positive of things? Like to
I like incorporated that with my prayers actually like recently, because like I had started praying like after I worked my third step, I enlarged my spiritual guidance, I guess you'd say. Like I used to think that it was just the people that had passed away in my life looking after me. And so like after working my third step, I did it on Mount Lemon, and I was able to figure out what I want in a higher power and what I believe a higher power is. And so like I went from writing the prayers down in this little book, and I'd like go outside and smoke, and I'd read it every morning and read it at nighttime. And so I just constantly have to keep changing up my routine for prayer, because I don't ever want it to start feeling like monotonous, and because to me that's when it's not working.
Kind of like the Catholic Church confessions. You walk in, you say your Hail Marys and Our Fathers, and you go about your day.
I totally relate to that.
But yeah, I had to do that recently, and I started like just adding 3 things good that happened in the day, so that I wasn't constantly focusing on the negatives. And then I had to add in like 3 areas that I think I need to work on. So like every night when I pray, I say 3 things that were good in the day, and then I add 3 areas that I want to work on for the next day.
You're kind of like doing like a mini 10-step.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the second time this week I've actually suggested this, but there's you know the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius?
Yeah.
He was a G. Do some Googling. But there's an English translation of his like journal that he kept. His memoir. It's called Meditations, and it's basically notes that this emperor left himself about certain situations that helped him keep his cool. And it's basically how this emperor of Rome didn't just murder people all the time, but it was just because. And I love it. It's very like, okay, well, this is shitty, but what can I do with my mindset? I can let this affect me, or I can just be like, oh yeah, that's that thing. And I bust that out every now and again, just pop it up and read a couple. It's worth it.
Yeah, that's like I brought that up in groups, not this week, but I think it was last Monday. Because like for me personally, and there's nobody in treatment with me that's going through a similar situation, but I was like, I don't know what was in the air. It was like the first like cloudy day that we've had in a long time, and everybody was pissed the fuck off. And I'm like, you guys, and I think currently there's 9 people here with us. I was like, it is extremely hard for me to continue to keep a positive outlook on life, because I do have real shit that I have to worry about. And I wasn't saying like, oh, you guys don't have real shit to worry about, but like I'm facing prison, and I need to constantly stay in a positive mindset, because that's just what I have to do. And somebody else brought it up this week, and I was glad that he brought it up, because it just gets hard for me to try and stay positive around a lot of negativity. And being like a senior member in the treatment facility, a lot of the staff members look to me to incorporate positivity into the community.
I get
and
you.
That's
a lot of pressure. And being the one that has to remain positive, that's a shitload of pressure sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have heard of the crab story, right?
No.
Okay, so you've ever been to docks before?
The docks?
Yeah, like any docks, like.
Yeah.
All right. So have you ever noticed why the fishermen never have lids on the crab crates?
No.
Okay, well the reason why that is because every time one of the crabs tries to climb on out and use the other crabs to climb itself out, all the other crabs will grab it and pull it back down. That's negativity. You know,
Yeah.
we love stewing in our own shit, dude. Because
Oh yeah, dude.
that shit bed that we made is fucking warm and comfortable. Hell yeah, it is. So that's why I always like to refer back to the crab. Because when I was in rehab the first time I heard that story, I was like, oh shit. So you can literally illustrate that to any type of negative story. Because why, I know when I was fucking pissed off or something like that, I would tell people to, bring them in, like, so that way they were on my side. All right, let's go be pissed off together.
Yeah. And that's what, like, the program director says a lot. She's like, you have to continue to stay, like, positive, because she's like, just puts it bluntly, she's like, they want to be negative because they just got here. They want to be negative because that's all. They want to group together and, like, gang up and be negative.
And not only that, though, what they're looking for, especially as someone with you, they're looking for that excuse.
Yeah.
They're looking to see the hole in the bullshit that, oh, you know what? She's not about it. Okay, see, I knew this was bullshit. I knew this was a fucking lie. So that's where you get to really shine and step up and live your life. Because, dude, you're like everybody else. We're not fucking perfect. We're fallible. We're human beings. There's gonna be days you're gonna be pissed off. There's gonna be days that you're fucking sad. There's gonna be days that you're ecstatic. That's just what happens. But it's having the awareness of when you're going through those emotions of, okay, how am I gonna allow this to affect me, and how is this situation gonna affect the people around me?
Mm-hmm.
So you get actually a pretty cool opportunity.
That's something that I need to work on too. It's like, I have a very big problem with, like, my tone and how I word certain things. And, like, I'll genuinely think that it's coming out nicely, and every single person is like, no, that did not come out nicely. And I'm like, fuck. And
my intention was good.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't mean it rudely. And they're like, well, it came out like that.
Well, you know what you can say? Fuck off. You know how it was meant to come out. That's all that matters.
Right?
No, I get it, though. It's, the thing, I'll speak for myself. My hardest thing with communication, and these guys can definitely attest to this, is I feel dumb a lot of the times. I'll dumb myself because that's what I did for a lot of fucking years, because that was my sense of control, to where people were starting to make fun of me. I could go out and make fun of myself, and I got to take that control back and be like, okay, I got this. It's okay. I'm making fun of myself. It's okay for everyone else to do it. So every time before we start our podcast, I spend about 30 minutes sitting in the chair feeling like, if you've ever watched the show Friends, I'll be like Joey sitting there while everyone else is having the conversation about politics or sports, and I'll be like, uh-huh, yeah. Oh, yeah, uh-huh, sure.
But, hey, you dropped some FDR knowledge today, buddy. I'm proud of you.
I did. It's progress, not perfection.
That is right.
So, all right, I'm going to shut up now.
No, you're cool, man. Well, shit.
I was going to say, it's getting kind of late.
It's 9 o'clock. My old lady's been asleep for an hour.
And I got to wake up at 4:30.
I got to go take my nighttime meds.
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah. Sharing is caring.
Getting crunk off that melatonin.
Dude,
hey,
that
Paul.
shit fucks me up.
Oh, sharing isn't caring. That's why we're doing a podcast.
It took me a second to get that.
Come on, bud.
Yeah, my bad.
You keep your medicine to yourself.
Yeah. Hey, Wizard, erase that shit off, please.
Oh, no, we're keeping that. This is a whole life lesson. Just tagged it.
Hashtag life lessons.
Well, Bailey, thank you very much. Do you have, would you like to, like, promote a place where people could, like, follow you, or are you going to leave that alone?
I'm just going to leave it alone now.
Oh, okay. So they'll just see it forever in the shit that we've tagged you in.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, but I have my page set to private, so it's like they can still see my page, but I'm trying to think of if I want to make it public or not. So
Well,
I don't know.
I would suggest doing like a whole different page. Like you have like I can't go back on this because my personal page has been public for so long and my business is attached to it.
Yeah.
But take and start like your personal recovery story page kind of thing, and then leave your personal page, leave that one as your private page.
Yeah.
You could do like Bailey's sober makeup or some shit, and then she's a makeup wizard, by the way. She like when like the contouring shit first came about and all these girls started doing tutorials, she was already ahead of the game, like
What's
5 years.
contouring?
That's where they mix this makeup to make their face better.
Oh.
I don't know, dude. I have a wiener.
Makeup.
I grow beards, cover up my flaws.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta paint my face something fancy.
Well, I don't know any about that shit.
Well, so here's the part where we run through our shout outs. So once again, I'd like to give a shout out to Royalty Nutrition. That's royaltynutrition.com. If you're looking for supplements to help you along the way in your fitness goals that aren't mixed with a bunch of bullshit and have ingredients that actually do their job and work, high quality, good stuff, help you really take that crown you've always deserved when it comes to your fitness, check them out and use that code 37HAKE to save you 25% on your entire order. Also, I want to give a shout out to the Fit Ops Foundation. Without the Fit Ops Foundation, I would not be where I am today. That foundation helped me rediscover a purpose and gave me a head start in the career in fitness. Check them out at fitops.org. You can follow them at FitOps Foundation on Instagram. If you are an active duty service member or that is getting ready to get out, or a veteran that's looking to get in the fitness industry, they are worth checking out. They are also a great cause to donate to. I'm pretty sure that's all I got this week, Paul.
Word. All right. Gonna give a shout out to my boys at my home group. That is a Pigeon Coop, 4th Dimension. And just want to let you guys know, and I'm sorry, ladies, but this is just for you guys only. Looking for some solid recovery, good conversation, and just brutal honesty and vulnerability amongst the men. Please come check us out. Sunday night, 6 p.m. And we are located on Baseline and Rural, just south of the 60 on Rural, right behind Denny's. If you want to have any information, just go and hit me up on my Instagram. That's How You Doing, HWUDOIN. Just go and send me a message. I'll give you more details. Also, we are having a co-ed event. This is our quarterly event. You will have me behind the grill, which is where I belong because we Italians know how to fucking cook. Be the best burger you ever had in your life. Come check us out. We're having 2 speakers, 1 male, 1 female. We're going to be having a raffle. All proceeds go to good causes within the CA community because it is a CA event. However, all forms are welcome. All people are welcome. So please come check us out. We could use all the support. I'm going to give a shout out to Gorilla Gains. That's with a Z. And
Gorilla-gains.com.
there it is. And the reason why I'm giving them a shout out is because they're helping me save my wrists. I got Jake here being my coach. He's bulking me up right now, which is getting my weight increase as well in my lifting. And those wrist wraps are coming in clutch. However, I need to stop by this weekend and pick me up some knee sleeves because these old knees are starting to get a little rickety and I'm getting up into that weight, even though I'm only doing a half fucking set.
Half rep.
half rep. Whatever. And so, just Gorilla Games definitely got awesome apparel. Check them out.
Discount code JON15. 15%
There it is.
on your whole order.
How much?
15.
15%. All right. And then we want to give a big old shout out to the beautiful, the one and only
Our savior.
DJ
DJ Swirl.
You know, if it wasn't for this beautiful man, this wizard that we call behind the curtain, we would not be able to do what we're doing now. Now, when I say that, he is bringing in other people looking to do what we're doing. That is being podcast, gaming, YouTube, whatever it may be. He's got this studio spiced up, looking all professional. Ain't got shit on Joe Rogan. I love Joe Rogan to death, but this feels like home, man. We got everything that you need in here. Please check him out. He's always open to new suggestions, open to new ideas. He's got everything laid out in here already for you to be able to do whatever the hell it is that you want to do. On top of that, we are located in his Buy to Buy studios. Now, what is Buy to Buy, Paul? Well, Buy to Buy is a great and unique idea that DJ Swirl, otherwise known as Ryan, came up with. So that way you're not feeling suspicious. You're not feeling scared. You're not having to go meet up in a fucking parking lot at 11 o'clock at night because you got dinner. You got to take care of the kids. You got off of work. You're trying to, match your schedule with the other person's schedule that you're trying to buy this fucking whatever it may be from. Well, he's collaborated and consolidated all of that into one location. And it's a secure location. It's well locked up, I should say. Well, camera.
It's secure.
Thank you. Thank you.
The word is secure, Paul.
Thank you. See? Oh, I always need help. And so it's a secure location. He tests everything out. And can I bring up what you are planning to do as well?
Go for it.
Awesome. So he is going to be making it mobile, ladies and gentlemen. That means he's going to have the equipment on site within his vans for you to be able to test it out right then and there. I'm telling you, this guy is doing it all. He's making the buying and selling industry a one of a kind. So if you want to ask him any questions, you can reach out to him at DJ Swirl. Am I correct on that on Instagram? Yes. Okay. Also, you can check out his Instagram page for Buy to Buy. That's BUYTOBYE. I always got to look at the clock to make sure I'm spelling it right. All right. That's all I got from my shout outs, Jake.
Well, hell, then I think this podcast is over.
Thanks again, Bailey. Really
Bailey,
appreciate it.
Fucking great job. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad, man. But definitely keep in touch.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I know Brittany likes you and shit, so I mean,
She's awesome.
she's pretty dope. Big fan. Totally knocked her up that one time.
Yeah.
We do it.
We do it. Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.